Hey guys, welcome back. BDCKR here, and this is our weekly Q&A. As always, we'll start off with a quick update. In WWE Immortals, the online multiplayer is for Animal Batista, and that expires tomorrow. The current character mode is for Conqueror Brock Lesnar. In Mortal Kombat X, update 1.8 has dropped, so there is a new currency that you can only get in Faction Wars called Blood Rubies, which you can get 2 new characters and 3 new gear cards for, which we have videos up that we've uploaded very recently. And it's also the 1-year anniversary, so there's rewards for every day that you sign in. And the current character challenge is for Unstoppable Jason Voorhees. And in Injustice, the current character challenge is for Antimatter Sinestro.
For one more day only.
The current online battle is for Ares. And the Survivor Mode gear set is the 4th World Gear until the 19th. So now we're going to move on to the question and answer portion of our video. The first question comes from nintin, sixnin, and there's a little bit of a setup for this one. So his first comment, or their first comment, was, please try to reply to queries being raised below your videos. To which we said something along the lines of, we try our best, but we can't always find everything, sometimes we lose comments, things happen.
There's just a lot of stuff coming in, right? We usually get maybe dozens of comments a day on a slow day, and we might even get a couple hundred on the days when a really popular glitch gets, I don't want to say released, but we film our video of a glitch that becomes very popular.
Yeah, and so to that he replied, fair enough. Guess we'll just have to repost the questions until they're right on top. And then a smiley face? Frowny face? I don't know.
Alright, so that doesn't work either. I mean, technically it works for us as far as what YouTube calls engagement. So this is an excuse for us to talk about YouTube again. So engagement is something YouTube measures based on, you know, comments, likes, views, and the better your engagement, the better your CPM, which we talked about earlier, which is the amount of money that you get per 1,000 views. So that's not bad to have more comments like that, but it's really awful for people who actually want answers to their questions. And engagement
is good, right?
Yeah, so the ads are better value. You know, if we were happy, if we're going to ignore all the questions and comments that come up, that would be fine. Or if it's just comments that don't need an answer, you know, like if people are saying, oh, you guys are great, I'm going to name my firstborn baby BDCKR, hey, that's cool, no problem, right?
Yeah, comments are good in general. Even if they're kind of comments of stuff we already answered in the video, we don't mind, because CPM is better, you know, we're not going to say no to free benefits.
Alright, but if it's something that needs a response, okay, so let's talk a little bit more background. I mean, I love the way YouTube works, or not so much how it works, but understanding how it works. So part of why we did this channel was messing around and figuring out what's going on. So comments on the videos, at least for our channel, we've got 3 notification streams. There's a page on our channel that we can access for all comments, and it brings up every comment for every video, and it brings it up in chronological order except when it's a reply to another video. There's also that notification, the bell at the top right of the page on YouTube that I think everybody has.
Yeah, everybody has it.
As long as you're logged in. And we also have our settings to allow email notifications. So the way the page for comments works, like I said, the most recent standalone is first. So if we were looking only on the comments page, the conversations, even the ones that we were participating in that we've replied to, they get buried pretty quickly, right? If that's the only place we were looking. Now, using that along with the bell is good, because when you reply, it actually gives you the plus user, whatever your name is.
Yeah, like you guys know, because you'll have seen this in action if you have ever had a comment that other people have replied to.
Right, so some of them will just be plain text plus whatever the name, and some of them will be with a little box around it as a link, and the link is usually what happens when you're replying to a threaded conversation up at the top of the bell. And the other good thing is it also includes comments that may have been shunted to the held for review tab or likely spam tab.
Which sometimes are totally not spammy at all. Like, some of them are just people honestly asking questions, and whatever their algorithm are, they pick out something in the question that they deem might be spam.
Right. Now, the problem with the bell is it's bad because you can't always reply directly there. Sometimes you can if you've already started a conversation. So when, let's say for example, a video has generated more than one comment before another comment shows up on another video, you definitely can't reply. It'll show you a whole bunch of comments all together with no reply option there on the bell. And if you've already responded to the thread, you can, but sometimes it can be a bit of a jumbled mess. So it doesn't happen often either, but sometimes the whole system fails. A few weeks ago, our comments page was completely empty because somehow YouTube had just totally stopped working that way.
Yeah, and other people are also running into that issue.
Yeah. So, alright, so here is the problem. Like I said, we get dozens of comments every day, even on a slow day. And when people start making multiple comments to ask the same questions, those dozens can quickly become hundreds. And besides which, YouTube will actually take some of them and specifically identify them as spam because they've been asked too many times.
Yeah, exactly the same question. If it's the exact same punctuation and spelling and everything, it'll detect that.
Right. So, and I know that part of the appeal of our channel is, and part of what the viewers like is that we respond to a lot of questions. But if we had to handle twice as many comments, there's a good chance we'd have to stop answering individual questions because it just takes too much time.
Yeah, even if the comments weren't all stuff that we had to reply to, even if the same thing was asked twice.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm guessing that's probably a big reason why the big YouTubers either don't answer often or have maybe a staff person that's dedicated to doing that as their job.
Yeah, because it would be impossible for them to just answer it. And the other problem that you run into a little bit is if there's multiple copies of the same comment, you don't know what other people are going to see when they're in the comment section. So they might see the one that you commented that we replied to, and they might also see one of the multiple ones that we didn't actually reply to because we already replied to one of them. And that's less useful for anyone else except for the person that we're replying to for wanting to actually see the comment, right? And not having to ask their own question.
And that's why sometimes if I see multiple comments, I'll still address it and say, you know, answer it in your other one because I want to make it as easy as for possible to get the information because that actually matters to me a bit.
Yeah. Better experience for our users, always. That's always the, well, not users, viewers. That's always our end goal.
Yeah. Alright, next question up is from the Alterator. With the possibility of updates coming and possible glitch fixes, do you recommend we bank up some coin? Or will there always be a glitch for things? And that's on one of our Injustice videos.
And so our answer is, we don't know if there will always be a new glitch for things. There has been times where there were no new glitches, and the old glitches were patched, and it seems like eventually we find a new glitch, but there's nothing to suggest that that will continue. So our advice would be yes, to always bank up on coins, and also if possible bank up on as many ways of like wealth as possible, right? You want to bank up on either gear cards or gear shards too, probably. Maybe some extra characters just in case, that kind of thing. Bank up as many ways as possible in which you're not going over what might get you banned.
Right, so that's an important point. You want to find balance, right? We're seeing it more and more lately where people are getting a little carried away, accumulating a little too much in power credits, because originally when we did our videos showing or asking will blank get us banned, the threshold was 1 billion, but there have been more than a few reports that people are getting banned with, and there's, again, I haven't been able to check their accounts, so I don't know what else they're doing, but they're saying that they're getting banned with only 500 million. And 500 million is not an insignificant amount of power credits. And
it's way more than probably anyone should be able to get legitimately.
Right.
Even with money.
Right, exactly. By playing, there's no way, and that should be pretty trivial for them to check whether somebody's actually spent money, because they can look at the records, right, for whatever statements they get from Google Play Store to show who's actually putting out that kind of cash. 500 million is excessive.
They would be able to tell who had dropped like thousands of dollars on the game too, as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Alright, so short answer is, yeah, bank something, and the slightly longer answer is bank something, but don't bank too much. You never know. It seems like, actually, you know what I thought was the game-breaking glitch? Was the one where you could buy multiple packs, for the same price. So you could get 50 of the same pack over and over again with just the cost of one. And I thought that was game breaking. And when they patched that, I thought, oh, well, that's it, too bad, so sad. And it seems like there's been something almost constantly for the last 2 years.
Yeah, and the new glitch is actually arguably better because it's not one step removed from actually getting all the cash from it.
Right. Yeah, absolutely true.
So our next question comes from, well, this isn't a question, this is just something we wanted to talk about. Comes from Perez, and they say, whoever subscribes to me, I'll sub back. And so we just kind of wanted to address what we see the issue with this kind of thing is. We don't mind this kind of comment on our channel because it doesn't hurt us in any way, right? He's in no way decreasing the pool of people willing to watch us. But we have a lot of subscribers. Not a lot compared to big people, but just a lot objectively when you think about the number of people.
A lot more than we deserve?
Yeah, probably. So we have a lot of subscribers, and all of them were subscribers who decided to subscribe of their own volition because of the content we made. So basically they wanted to get notified when we made a new video, and you got to assume that's because they want to watch at least a percentage of the videos that you're putting out.
Most likely, I mean, the biggest likelihood is probably the glitches, right?
Yeah. So even with that, we get 1,000 views on these kind of videos, right, which are still about injustice and about all of our core games, and we get a couple hundred on anything that's even still about video games, but just not about these. So that's a pretty small percentage of our subscribers. And now if you take that and imagine that instead of subscribing for your content, they're subscribing because sub for sub. They're not that likely to actually want to watch any of your videos, and at the end of the day, if they don't watch any of your videos, really they're not doing anything for you as a subscriber. There's no real value to having them there. Right.
I mean, the engagement algorithm that YouTube might use, that's probably a relatively low value, and especially if it doesn't come with any views, it's not actually going to result in anything. Without the views, you're not making any money. It might improve your CPM, but
CPM on 0 views is $0.
And especially when you're doing one subscriber at a time that you actually have to subscribe to. I mean, when we're going really good, we can usually make, or not usually, but we've gotten as many as over 1,000 subscribers in a month. And in a slow month, we'll make maybe like 500 or 600. And I can't imagine having to do videos, respond to comments, and then still having to subscribe one at a time to everybody on our list. That would, I think that would break me.
If we had to subscribe individually to 11,000 channels to even, and we would likely still be getting less views than this, right? It would be just totally impossible to reach kind of any level of success with that method. The only way that I can see it working is if your content is really so good that the only thing you need is an audience. And so if you do sub for sub, those people realize you're great, tell all their friends, and that kind of thing. But other than that, I really don't see any way that that's a viable strategy for getting any level of success on YouTube.
Yeah, I guess unless somehow whoever subscribes to you is so connected. I mean, it'd be like trying to win an election one vote at a time with no other kind of presence.
And our last question, again, this isn't a question, this is just something we wanted to talk about, comes from Terminator 2013. And they say, I really hate people who hack games. I mean, why play the game if you're just going to hack it, and it's not fun when it's easy?
So I just want to make a meta comment, too. I'm enjoying these Q&As even more, because it's giving us an excuse to talk about the stuff that is interesting to us.
And we're still getting views, which means that you guys are at least willing to watch them. We can't say that you're enjoying them more, but it means that there's a certain level of, I don't know, it's at least good enough to play in the background while you're doing other things.
So what I should say is, welcome to our basement, pull up a beanbag chair, and get comfortable the next time you're here. Alright, so back to the comment. I really hate people who hack games. So, the distinction we make, maybe it's too trivial for some people, but there's a difference between glitching, which is a form of cheating, and hacking, which is also another form of cheating, but hacking involves a little bit more of manipulating the game in a way that not only was it not intended, but it's not meant to be manipulated.
Yeah, so we can't talk about hacking, but we can talk about our experience with glitching, and we're going to come at it from that perspective, assuming that he just used the word glitch instead of hack.
Right. So that he was not being precise with his choice of words?
Well, maybe
Which
he
happens
was,
a lot on
but
YouTube.
we're just gonna discuss it as if that's what he meant, as if he meant cheating, even if he meant hacking, and he just wasn't addressing it to us. He was just addressing it generally to the world, and he figured this was the best medium for him to shout into the void. So,
right, yeah, that's a nice image. I like that.
The fun of the game doesn't actually come from its difficulty, because the game itself is pretty basic in its elements of play, and in our opinion at least, it's not actually that difficult.
Right, yeah, it's not that hard. It's swipe, tap, and maybe 2 fingers at the same time.
So the real fun of the game comes from planning and messing around and just kind of playing with a big collection where you have a lot of choice, right?
Right, alright, so that's a perfect thing. It just popped in my head. We're talking like building blocks, right? You're putting together stuff, whether it's putting together a team, putting together gear setup, and unless you actually have the building blocks, all it really becomes, it's reduced to a grind.
Yeah, so instead of money, they take your time, and they have an option for a really expensive way of getting kind of a skip past spending however long it would take to get that amount of money. So, to us, like, glitching is just a way to get the complete set. And it's just a way to give us the most materials to have the most fun, without having to put hundreds more hours than we already did.
Yeah, and we're not saying that it's not cheating, because it clearly is. And we're not saying that it's not breaking the rules, because it clearly does. But the underlying question that a lot of people seem to ask in the way they phrase it is, well, what's the point of doing it? And maybe it's a rhetorical question, but why do it if it's just so easy to get and you can bypass the grind? And that
I agree with that for a lot of games, like Pokemon, most video games really, right? But this is so grind-centric that it almost feels like most of the fun that we could have out of the game is locked away behind the grind, and that's why we glitch, to kind of get the chewy center, right?
Like a truffle? So we want the center, like, whatever.
I don't know.
Thing.
It's like putting a candy in water. You like Warheads, but you don't want the sour part, so you put it in water for a minute, and
Alright,
then
I'm feeling hungry.
I don't know. So that's just our perspective, and we get if you don't want to do it, but I really think at the end of the day we're not hurting anyone by doing it, and that's kind of the most important principle that we try to stick to for this.
Very good.
So thanks for watching.
Oh, and just so you know, the 1-Up box came. We're probably going to post an unboxing tomorrow. So please watch that if you like what we do. It'll help support us.
And if that kind of thing sounds interesting to you, this would be one of the easiest ways to get in on that subscription service, even if you don't have a lot of money that you're willing to spend or anything, because it's the cheapest, and it's also still a very good deal, just speaking personally.
So that's enough of the sneak peek. Thanks for watching.
We'll see you guys next time. Komoda!